Night. Hopefully be live. My last live stream had a weird start to it. Yeah, looks like I actually went live earlier than I thought I did. Doing tonight. I'm going to hang out probably for an hour and a half or so. Q&A as normal. If anyone has any questions they want to go over, feel free to leave chat. If everyone's hearing me fine. It looks like the green bars are bouncing as they should be. I have a voice. I guess I'll start with a very abbreviated Collecticon recap. I am going to do my normal Dan, way more than most people probably want to hear, but I do look at the retention on those from time to time. There's at least like 3 people that make it to the end of the hour PowerPoint presentation where I recap the Collecticon. I know, I always say it. I love consuming the next week. I love consuming the content. I mean, I was at the convention, but I was there through my perspective, right? I didn't go to every, I mean, a lot of times there's large groups, certain people end up different places, and I was more vending. I want to hear the buying stories. I want to hear about the meals that I didn't end up going to, about the night at the bar that I didn't make it. Because you can only be in one place at one time, right? So yeah, I look forward to. I've already seen Brad's recap. Hopefully there will be many, many more. But always a big fan of the recaps. Have to do my own contribution of that as well. So Monday, my video will be an hour-long PowerPoint presentation. Going through. I'm gonna do. As I was thinking about, I'm gonna do like the business up front, and then the party in the back. It's gonna be like a mullet style recap. One of these days, maybe I'll run one of those. If my wife's listening, I'll find out because she'll text me soon after she hears that. But yeah, I'm going to do the convention, Saturday and Sunday, the buying and the selling on the first couple slides, first 20, 30 minutes, so that people who want that, generally more people would desire that. And then I'll talk about the Thursday and Friday, pre-gaming the convention, visiting Dallas with my wife, some of the things we did, some of the food we ate, and then the shenanigans that happen after dinner, through dinner, after dinner at the convention weekend too. So that'll be a fun video for Monday. Fun one for me to make. Some people will enjoy it. Some people, not their thing. Dan, plug in the Ethernet all the way. Yeah, I'm having a rough time lately. I do not know. I need to maybe go through my OBS again. All the settings are what they've always been, but maybe they need a revamp. I am not sure what's been going on, but I have like 50% dropped frames right now. I know the Wi-Fi on my phone is off. It shouldn't really bother it anyways. But yeah, the streams have been pretty rough lately. I apologize for that. PSA 9 connection. Did PSA actually buy CGC? Collectors Holdings? I don't see anything when I Google that. Let me see. Collectors Holdings SGC rating. I don't see anything about that. That would be interesting if that were the case, but I'm not seeing that come up on a quick Google. Andy's pulling my leg here. Nice to see all the familiar names in the chat. Nice to see all the familiar faces at conventions. Best part about conventions is the people. But this is as close as we get to that, right? We're hanging out on video. Still a good time. I didn't lose my voice this past week, and I've gotten soft. So, yeah, I'm not going to dive way down into it. But my dropped frames are at like 50% right now. I don't know if it's watchable. Let me know. Please no, Re the Mullet. Please let me know if it's watchable in chat. It's looking really bad on this end. I apologize for that. But my wife is texting me, so she is listening. Maybe she'll turn off everything she has on Wi-Fi if she is listening. So I don't think that should be the problem. But yeah, we'll continue on if we can. Where was I? Had a great time. Not gotten soft. I went pretty hard, but I tried to take it easy as far as shouting in the bars. So that retained my voice, thankfully. Very happy to not have to wait till Friday to get my voice back, because that's always a huge pain. We got Brandon, we got Pongo, we got Leaf Green Goblin, we got Trow. How's it going, Trow? Team Leader Pepe, Goto Giraffe, started lurking. Andy, perfectly timed for bedtime. Nice, soothing stream to put you to bed. Nice boring stream to put you to bed. But yeah, as I said, I don't have a long rant. I don't have anything planned. I'll save that for Monday. So if anyone has any questions in particular about conventions, not about conventions, about anything else, I do have a couple new items that I'll go over Monday in the background. A lot more items to show that I don't have in the background currently. But yeah, Dallas was awesome, as they all are. Not the biggest crew that I've been there with, not the smallest crew that I've been there with, but it was a great time as always. What was that, Yu-Gi-Oh? So this week I am actually like getting hammered with great thing, consignments. I have one new, very well, not new. He sent me a couple cards before, and he sent me a lot now. He sent me a lot. I brought home more consignments, more new consignments from Dallas than I brought back like unsold cards of my own. I went with 300-400 graded cards, and I came back with very few. Again, stay tuned Monday for the video to recap it all. But the Yu-Gi-Oh on my desk, I have some LOB first edition, wavy, glossy. I actually spent the last not couple hours. I spent the last hour maybe before the stream. I haven't quite finalized it, but yeah, I did a 90 card eBay Vault submission that went out this morning. So my standard, I might as well do my my little spiel, right? I might as well go here. I might as well do the consignment thing. So if you're interested in consigning through me, 1 to 4% fees with a $25 minimum fee. Anything 250 up, single graded card. So this week I'm sending out about 200 cards. My standard is, as it says in the bottom, like where am I pointing? Bottom right here, it says there's a Monday deadline. So if you get the cards to my PO box on Monday, they will be out Wednesday. Well, this week I had so many. eBay Vault only lets you submit 100 cards at a time, so I'm limited with card quantity. I mean, technically I could do multiple shipments in a day, but getting back from Dallas, and I talked to the guy whose cards went out, going out tomorrow, going out Friday, and made sure he was fine with it. But yeah, I had 90 cards go out today. I have about 50 going out tomorrow because I have a dollar value that I won't go over due to my insurance. So shipment 1 hit the quantity limit and was very near the dollar limit. Shipment 2 was like 40-50 cards that hit the dollar limit. And then shipment 3 is basically Yu-Gi-Oh! And then a few of my own cards. But the Yu-Gi-Oh! Is LOB. I learned all about wavy versus glossy. It took me quite a while, couple YouTube videos, couple pictures, to figure out how to discern wavy versus glossy. But I think I'm somewhat of an expert on that now. Not really, but I think I know well enough to have properly judged these. But yeah, mostly LOB, a little bit of Metal Raiders, pretty good stuff. I mean, some Exodia pieces. No like LOB, Blue Eyes PSA 10 or anything. But yeah, it's some pretty good stuff. I took a lot of videos. I took a lot of the turntable spinny videos that I'll make into shorts. There was good stuff going out to the eBay Vault this week. Some mine, some consigners, but yeah, really looking forward to a week or two when those things get posted up and listed. Should be some good sell through on those. Thanks for stopping in, Vandy. Where'd you go? Sleep in. I'll catch up in the morning. Have fun, y'all. Appreciate you stopping in. I know it's busy time of year for Vandy. Let's see your TCV. Would you rather have? Oh man, this one's too easy. Would you rather have 1,000 Minty Celebrations Charizards or 1,000 light played Haunter Reverse Stamp Legend Maker cards? I mean, no question. I'm assuming that maybe they're in the vicinity of price wise, but I mean, without a doubt, I would rather have 1,000 Minty Celebrations Charizards because I can do so much more with them. Light Play, Haunter Reverse Stamp, Legend Maker cards. You can't grade them because they're LP, right? What are they going to be? PSA 5 to PSA 8, depending. The Celebrations Charizards, 1,000? I mean, Minty. Maybe only 100 or 200 are gradable. 100, 200, 500, 1,000 new PSA 10s being added are not going to have substantial effects on anything. 1,000 more of a mid-era reverse holo card being brought to market, that's going to have devastating effects. I'm not going to pull up all the exact data, but how many of one sell per day versus the other? Liquidity, sell-through, all those things. Very, very easy question. Spreadsheets will be there. I might do spreadsheets for Monday's video. There will definitely be tax videos upcoming in the next couple of months because it's that time of year. There will definitely be some tax videos. It looks like my drop frames are going down substantially. As I say that, I'm dropping some frames again, but hopefully it's watchable. Sales were so good in Dallas, Dan sold his hair. Yeah, so the weather was amazing. Weather's actually been great around here, except for today. We've got some crazy storm going on tonight. So if I cut out for no apparent reason, maybe my power went out. I think the worst of it is past me already. My parents actually, a couple towns over, they had a couple trees fall. I've heard town near me, certain buildings being damaged and whatever. But yeah, Dallas was great weather. I didn't want to go down with the big shaggy beard and be sweating like crazy. So we did a lot of walking. We put on a lot of miles Thursday and Friday. And then we put on a lot of miles Saturday and Sunday. Even though the convention was connected to the hotel, physically connected. You didn't have to go outside. It was a hike. It was a hike, which is great. Eating a lot of food, having a lot of beverages. So it's good to walk off some calories. Let's see. But yeah, sales were really good, which I will report on more thoroughly Monday. Ram Lightning says probably the Legend Makers. It's never been watchable. Leaf Green Goblin and Trow saying it's good now. I appreciate you. Sterling says, can you explain how the eBay vault currently works for selling right now and how it's supposed to change in the future? I need to send some cards here pretty soon. So I talked about my consignment a little bit, 1 to 4%, depending on the value, depending on the end price, as I did my little spiel there. But it's open to everybody. I don't try to hide that fact. I was in early. I did have access to it before most people did. So for a few months span there, I was able to get people in before others could. As of now, though, well, domestic. So international folks still can't get in there. Maybe other metrics, maybe other things. But overall, it's pretty, if you're in the US, it's pretty accessible. Anything single graded cards greater than 250, you send them in for free. At some point, you'll have to pay a submission fee for each card. If you buy a card greater than 250 on eBay, you can have it shipped to your vault for free or for whatever the shipping charge the seller's charging. And it goes through authenticity guarantee, and then it goes to the vault. And then as of today, you can sell it for free. 0% selling fees. Submit for free, which is temporary. Sell for free, which is eternal, supposedly. Feels like one of those things. People say if it feels too good to be true, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. In this case, we will be getting a buyer's premium. So as far as I understand, no storage fees ever. No selling fees ever. But they will be making their money because that's the first thing you'd ask. Clearly it's too good to be true. It doesn't make sense. Cost of doing business, cost of acquiring customers. So right now they're losing money to acquire customers. And long-term, 3% buyer's premium is starting sometime later this year. Starting last year, starting late 2022, I think they've always just said 2024. They didn't say January 1st, 2024. They've just said 2024. So sometime this year, I've heard that it's going to be at least a couple months beyond. So I wouldn't expect it anytime in Q1. Maybe it starts April 1st, 2024. Maybe it doesn't start till later in the year. I really don't know. But yeah, it's at some point, all the fees, as far as I understand it, there will be a submission fee, which if you're consigning through me, the submission fee, you get it to me and I get it to them and sell it. And my fee is all inclusive, aside from the hidden fee when the buyer's premium starts getting charged, which is unfortunate. I wish they just call it a selling fee. It's mostly semantics, but it's not entirely semantics. But anyways, yeah, incoming someday will be a submission fee if you're not buying it on eBay already, and there will be a buyer's premium starting at 3%. If I had to guess one way or the other, I would think it would go up from there, but no timetable for that, no exact set thing. They've said it will be 0 selling fees forever, 0 storage fees forever, but I've never heard them say that it's going to be 3% buyer's premium forever. I would imagine that to drift up. Heritage is 25%. Unless you get up to $1 million, then it's 20%. Golden, PWCC, 20% is pretty standard. So what eBay Vault, I'm very bullish on eBay Vault. I'm very bullish on eBay Vault. I think it's, again, people can do it themselves, but there are benefits. I mean, international people can't do it themselves. Some amount of people don't want to do the little bit of work that it is. And some amount of people don't want government documents generated, potentially. So I'm bullish on the consignment service being a valid, functional, heavily used option moving ahead. And I'm definitely going big on that in 2024. It's cool to see the stuff that is able to pass through my hands. You look like a robot like always. Did you pick up any FBO1 Fusion World booster boxes? I don't think I have access to it. I feel like I've looked it up before. I know I've had a couple of viewers in my live chats asking me about it, but I'm going to log into one of my distributors right now, and I'm going to look up Fusion World. Maybe I do have access. I'll have to leave this tab open for tomorrow or for later tonight. I'm probably going to be live till like midnight, 12:30 maybe. We'll see. But I want to say they actually do have it. I feel like I've done this before, maybe on my live 2 weeks ago. So I can pre-order as of today. Order due date's already passed for FBO3. I can order FBO1 Wave 2. The due date, so looks like the due date is Friday for me to order Wave 2, but maybe I can't get into Wave 2 if I didn't buy Wave 1. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. I know One Piece. The only reason that I started getting One Piece is because I heard certain people talking about it. I heard people talking about it in Discord, heard people talking about it on YouTube, and it's like 60 whatever bucks a box. It's like, why not take a shot? And then that has clearly panned out. So I'm willing to take a little bit of a, it's definitely a gamble still. I'm willing to take a little bit of a gamble, but it's obviously a lot less of a gamble than buying it at retail. Having that just built-in buffer, buying it wholesale. So as long as it's not brick and mortar exclusive, I will inquire about that soon. Oh my god, my graded growls behind you. I presume it would be this glorious Dan promo. CGC 10 Pristine. Unfortunately, I didn't get a black label, but I will have to try to get a black label eventually. This reminds me of the time Dan and Old Skool realized they can release Pokeflips in 1080p, possibly. I hope someday Spectrum will come down my street, because Spectrum is like 2 miles away at the end of the street, at the main road there. But it costs a lot of money to get it down to me, and I'm not about to pay that. Ram Lightning says, trying to get my personal grail. Thinking of buying a couple PSA 9 first edition Fossil Dragonites, I'm assuming D-Knights, to crack and resub for the 10, or should I just outright save a little more and buy the 10? Suggestions. Those cards are tough to grade. A lot of the cards, the majority of cards out of pack are going to be 9s. Some amount will be 8s. Probably lesser amount will be 10s than will be 8s out of the pack. So a lot of the 9s, the 9s are 9s for a reason, right? The 9s are a 9 because someone saw something on it. I don't know what the 9 goes for exactly. I do actually have, I just shipped this morning, a PSA 10 Fossil Dragonite Hollow is coming to Catch 'em All Collectibles eBay near you. So that will be there if you're interested in the 10. I'm not advocating that you buy it, but it's just, it's tough. It is definitely tough. It is, you got to just do the math, right? You got to do the math on, well, how much do 9s cost me? And the 9s that I regrade, how much is it? What is the punishment for like missing? How much is the PSA upcharge going to be on a 9, if any, which there probably will be on a PSA 9 Fossil Dragonite? Probably get upcharged from 15 to like 25 or 40. I don't know exactly. And all that time, all that effort, all that energy, how much is that worth to you? And how difficult, how hard is it to just get the 4, 5, 6 grand, whatever the PSA 10 Dragonites are going for right now? There's no like right answer. If you're going to regrade a 9 to a 10 in the first 5 or 10 that you do, I mean the math probably works out to where it's worth doing it. But you might regrade 20 times and not get one, and then it will be like, oh man, I wish I went back and just bought the 10. How do I skip this ad? Got Sword Shield Era saying sorry Earth, dropping the emotes. It was 73 here in Wisconsin. It was 73 yesterday here in Wisconsin and 13 today. Yeah, we have a pretty decent storm going on tonight. I think it was like 60 today. It was mid 50s, 60. Yesterday it was towards 70. Actually played some kicked around a soccer ball with my kids for like an hour and a half after school, after pickup. And then tonight it's like 20 overnight. Tomorrow the high is like 30 something. And then I think we're back to like 60 by the weekend. So yeah, upstate New York not knowing what it wants to do. Any Metazoo Dan promo for sale. So there will be Dan Metazoo promo updates. So I do my Metazoo videos on Saturdays typically. I will not have the video ready in time for this Saturday. So Monday is my Collecticon video. Something happened. For anyone who's unfamiliar, I sold 100 of my Metazoo promos, sealed, corporate seal, for $19.99. I'm buying them back eternally, forever, as long as I'm around, for $20. $20 cash, however you want to be paid. If you want to mail it to me, PayPal friends and family, whatever. Some got sold back to me in Dallas, and I had intended for certain things to happen once the first ones were sold back to me. So those will be in my video Monday, and then not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I will have a Metazoo video out detailing what kind of again just rehashing what happened at Dallas Collecticon, what the status of the promos is now, because the status has changed after Dallas Collecticon, and there will be a new release. There will be a new limited release, different style Dan promos. So I went with the corporate seal. For the first 100 that I sold, I think I gave away about 30 for people who qualified. There's only like 50, 54. I need to figure out the exact numbers that I have on hand too. But yeah, that will all be detailed in a video. It'll be touched on Monday in the Collecticon thing, and then it will be fully done Saturday. What is that? Like the 9th. Saturday the 9th. There will be, and then later that day, sometime after the Metazoo video goes, maybe I'll drop it 5 minutes after the Metazoo video drops or something, so that people who watch that Metazoo video will have like first dibs at it. But yeah, there's going to be 50 more coming out soon, but different ones, not the same ones. Those ones are done in the past, gone. Question: I want to build out a large sealed position and put Brian out of business. Am I full dust? Thank you, love you, Brian. I'm assuming Brian here is PokeNE. So we got Poke WA coming for PokeNE. I don't know if Brian's gonna be watching this, but you better watch out. Retro's coming for you. Right now, there's a lot of sets for super cheap. So I'm actually waiting for Brian to make a follow-up video. He did a video where he took like a big, decently sized PayPal loan to buy a bunch of to buy a bunch of not V-Star Universe, to buy a bunch of Shiny Treasure. So I don't know what cost that allowed him to get on the buy side. I think in Japan, since he made that video, the buy price came down some. With the quantity he was buying, like maybe he got that good of a deal anyways. I think given his brand, given his name, he's able to get a little bit of a margin on it, little bit of a premium to low list on the market through his website, less fees through his website and all that. So I'm sure he's doing fine. But no, like clearly he shows that it is a workable business strategy. How much you want to get into pre-orders, and definitely a risk. Definitely a risk. more so than more risk, but more potential reward too. If you can get the good contacts, if you get the good product, you pay up though. You pay up when everyone else is paying up. So yeah, it's an interesting model. Got a buyer in Ponga. Ponga was not in Dallas, unfortunately. What's yeah? This is something. I guess the risk of being banned. I had the same thought. Not as far as like actioning that thought, but right now, theoretically, I mean, having 0% selling fees, having 0% buyer's premium, that system can be gamed like a lot of things. I presume if you were to start trying to do that, like please nobody go and do that. I presume if you were to do that, you would be banned by eBay. I mean, if they see the same card selling between the same two accounts 100 times over, I think alarm bells will start to ring. TVTCG says, I don't have many Pokemon cards above 250. When does eBay Vault make sense for us who casually collect and grade modern cards as sellers? This, I hope this doesn't come across the wrong way, and it's not meant in like a gatekeepy manner, but hopefully never. Like, honestly, eBay Vault right now is quick. They are shipping things like next day, maybe 2 business days tops. When I ship in, it goes to California. I ship to California, who then ships back to Delaware, where the vault is, as far as I understand. So I usually turn things around sometimes in a week. I usually express to California. I don't know if they express from PSA to the eBay vault or what, but sometimes it's as little as 1 week, as long as 2 weeks. Then I need a day or two maybe to get the titles. So I'm turning things around in like a week or two, getting them listed, a day or two, getting them shipped out once they're bought. If they go down to $25 for the everyday Joe, for every person to be more accessible, they'll just get buried. Like, I don't want PSA 2021 turnaround times. I do not want a 6-month backlog to get my things in and out of the eBay vault. Like, and maybe they can scale. Maybe they can get it down to 200. Maybe they can get it down to 150. Maybe they'll surprise the hell out of me. Maybe they can get it down to 50. I just don't see it. Because 250, to me, I'm already shocked at how low they got it. Like, the amount of cards. Because we're not, like, Pokemon is where we are. Pokemon is one thing. Sports cards, there are so many sports cards. Like, you could pull it up. I mean, do a 90-day search on eBay, or don't even do a search term. Just do the graded card category. So many cards that they are putting through authenticity guarantee. So many cards that are accessible, are available to the eBay vault. And if you go down from 250 to 200, it's probably like 5x the amount. 250 up, like the amount between 200 and 249 is probably like 5x the amount 250 and up. And if you go all the way down to like $25, the amount from 25 to 250 is probably 100 times or more the amount from 250 plus. And the thing is, percentages, like I don't know what their deals are with CGC, with PSA, like doing the authentication. They're likely paying some flat fee, and if they're paying like $3 a card to have the middleman authenticate it, re-authenticate it, verify it, whatever, that doesn't work. Like $3 is 1%, a little bit over 1% of 250, but on $30 that's 10%, right? So I would be shocked if it ever goes below 250. I'm already pretty surprised that it's below that, and it's working so smoothly. But yeah, not like a gatekeepy thing, just a more realistic thing, because scale is just nuts. Same thing with PSA. Like, PSA is grading right now for what, $13-14? The amount of people that will grade a card from 13, like for 13 or higher, because they do have higher service levels. The amount of cards, it's X. Like, I don't know what it is. 1 million a month, right? 1 million a month approximately. Slightly less than 1 million a month, because PSA is grading 1 million a month and their backlog is shrinking. Their turnaround time is shrinking. So right now, today, the demand at 13 plus for grading at PSA is less than 1 million cards a month. If they lower that to 10, it might double. There might be twice as many cards to be graded between 10 and 13 as there is at 13 and higher. If you go down to like, I mean, just a handful of years ago, 2018, 2017, they used to grade cards for $6. If they started grading cards for $6 tomorrow, it might 10x the amount of cards that get submitted. we might within 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, we might go right back to PSA 14 million card backlog, 2021, year and a half, 2-year turnaround time. So yeah, as you go down in value, it just exponentiates the amount of volume that you have. So I really hope eBay extremely cautiously, because some amount of what they deal with, I send in a card like this is a PSA. I have no idea what this one's worth. I have it on a sheet somewhere that I need to submit. But certain cards get submitted at 300, and then the price drops 20%, 30%, 50%, and then it's only worth 100, 150. It's worth less. So some amount of the eBay vault, just inherently, they're going to be stuck dealing with cheaper cards anyways, because buy it nows versus auctions over days, months, years, prices move. So yeah, I would be shocked if they go far below 250 at all, ever. Let's see. Bonga confirmed, didn't go to Dallas. Has a Metazoo card ever gotten a black label? That's actually a good question. I have no idea. I would presume so, but I let me quickly eBay search. I don't have it ready to throw this up on screen. I have too many tabs open. Let's look up black label. I almost feel like a sample card did. I almost feel like one of the Black Border sample cards did, which is like insane because I couldn't even get a PSA 9 on any of them. Yeah, so I see a black label. Looks like the World Poker Tour promo. There's definitely at least some black label Metazoo cards. Only one black label Metazoo on eBay, then it'll never happen. Some of these are fairly clean. I mean, it's just a matter of getting that right bidder, right? Or that right bidder, that right grader. You could kind of come at it from both sides too, right? You could start saving for the 10, and if the perfect, like not perfect 9, but if a beautiful, ridiculously clean 9 comes up, maybe at auction, and you can scoop it, like out of your savings for the 10, you can take a little bit of a gamble, right? Buy a 9, try to cross grade it, and then maybe if you have to sell it, maybe you lose 10, 20%. Maybe you lose 100, 150 bucks, and now it takes you a little bit longer to save for the 10. But yeah, if you see a CGC 9.5, a CGC 10, if you see a card that you think has a good shot that you can get at the right price, you can kind of like take both routes, right? Like you don't have to go all in on one route, Dan up on the fence. Kurt, I see your question. I'm gonna try to take some shorter ones quick, and then I'll throw that one up, and I'm gonna see if I can stay on topic with anything else I'm talking about. Stream is lagging. Yeah, sorry, Ernie. It was lagging like crazy out of the gate. I think it's way better than it was, but it's still not great. Bierski Raid, appreciate you, Bierski. Dan looking thin, real weight or beard weight? So shaving off the beard, I mean, that had to be a couple of pounds by itself. No, I mean, probably half an ounce or so. But I set out at the start of the year, I mentioned it in the end of my video, 255 I was to start the year. 240 by April 1st is my goal. I've already been sub 240, so I've already seen 239 on the scale. After the Super Bowl, after Collecticon, I might be back up towards 245, somewhere in there. So I'm I am down some weight, not a ton, but I will get down to 225 to end the year is what the goal was. Dan giving off big gatekeeper energy right now. I knew someone was gonna say it, and it had to be Brad. It just had to be Brad. Darren Rovell just tweeted, Collector's parent company of PSA just acquired Greater SGC. That's interesting. I'm assuming they'll leave it as like a separate brand, a separate entity. But that's interesting. Yeah, so Collector's parent company of PSA is acquiring Greater SGC. PSA has 78% of the market and SGC has 7% of the market, according to GemRate. CGC has 10%, Beckett has 4%. Interesting. I don't really use SGC. I've definitely had some cards pass through my hands. It's a lot more of a thing in sports, but it'll be interesting to see what that does. I really have no idea. Let me take this one, Kurt, now. Couple upcoming Dallas Collecticon questions, which I will tackle after I do this one. So Kurt wants to know, can you talk about the relationship between raw, slabbed, sealed prices with regards to how each impact each other and their correlation with regards to prices? Sorry if it's worded poorly. So yeah, it's not going to be like one-to-one. But generally speaking, all these things are tied together to an extent, right? If these things get, like, these things are constantly at odds, trying to find some harmony, trying to find some equilibrium. So if the sealed price is like too low, if the raw prices are so high, and this has happened before, so I'll paint a picture of 2014 to 2017 Fossil Jungle First Edition boxes. Those were like the two worst suspects, but a lot of other boxes applied. I mean, even Base Set Unlimited, I cracked dozens of WotC boxes in 2014 to 2017 because the sealed was way too low and the slabbed was way too high. So what I did, PokeRev was doing the same thing at the same time, way higher level than I was. I was arbitraging on a market inefficiency. The boxes were going for $300 to $400, Fossil and Jungle specifically. I was buying German base set first edition. And if I hit a Charizard and graded it in a 9 or a 10, like 10 was going for multiple box prices. I remember Lapras around the same time was going for like $700. It was hard to grade in a 10, but even the 9s, I mean, from what the packs were going for. So basically what I'm saying is, if there's a discrepancy, if a sealed product is plus EV, people will rip it and sell the raw until it becomes break even or negative EV, right? Even when stuff's negative EV, it still gets opened because of the entertainment value, because of the gambler's premium and all that. But same thing with raw and slabbed. So if raw is relatively low and the sealed is kind of high, kind of like we see. So almost every product release ever, the initial Moonbreon, the initial Van Gogh Pikachu, the initial everything, the first couple to market, the prices are way up here. The prices are insane out of the gate. First people, impatient, whatever, the impatience premium. And the market acts on that. The market acts on that. The market expects that. So people buy the, relatively speaking, cheaper raw to grade it for profit into the higher price slabbed. Well, over time, and you see this now with certain cards, sometimes it gets so drastic and the 9s might be cheaper than raw. I mean, there are a lot of cards that will auction today, especially 8s. 8s almost universally with Modern. But 8s will be less than raw. 9s will be less than raw. And then 10s might be very little premium at all. So if the 10s get too low, and say a 10 sells for $10 over raw, well, grading is 15. No one's going to send anymore. So all these things are constantly like working together, and the market's trying to find like an equilibrium point. Theoretically, in like a perfect world, slabs should sell for some premium, or like a 10 that's harder to grade, even a 10 that might be easier to grade, should sell for some premium over raw. But the thing is, too much gets graded too fast, and then it kind of goes the other way. Then people stop grading, and the prices just kind of like ebb and flow, because all these things are constantly moving too, right? Like if we look at Moonbreon, the Evolving Skies box went up to what, $500+ now. The raw is going up and down. But yeah, if a reprint comes, sealed's going to go down, raw's going to go down to some extent, likely. But bigger things are at play too. So you have a lot of factors at play. Overall, end of the day, it's supply and demand. If a reprint comes, if more boxes get cracked, supply goes up. Sealed supply, once it's done being printed forever, the supply only goes down, right? But it can go up drastically if or when big reprints come. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that was what you were looking for, kind of the dynamic between raw, slabbed, and sealed. If anything ever gets way too out of whack, the market will iterate on that until it's kind of like to where it should be. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Interesting dynamic between all of those. What was the craziest card, thing, or person you saw in Dallas? Any wild Grail cards? I was just watching Bierski and and peeked at you earlier, I know as crazy it is to say it, I'm almost getting desensitized because anytime you go to a Collecticon, you go to the Heritage booth, you go to the Golden booth. A lot of times they'll have cards up. I've seen so many illustrators now. I've seen so many Art Academy cards. I've seen so many like PSA 10 base first hollows, and doing the consignment now. I've had more pass through my hands. So nothing that, like, as crazy as it sounds, nothing that like stood out drastically. Just your normal run of the mill 5 and 6 figure cards. As wild as that is to say. As far as people, I saw a lot of the usual suspects that I enjoy running into and hanging out with, that I hang out with online in Discord and YouTube live chats and stuff. I saw a lot of the usual suspects, but I also met some new great people too. The conventions are always great, but nothing like nothing crazy. My recap video will cover this Monday, but one thing my wife and I always talk about on the plane ride back or the car ride back from the airport, whatever. And I talk in Discord with people, like, what was the best thing from the convention? It's hard to point out like any singular thing. Like I know Charlotte, I pointed out like going to Rusty's, riding the four-wheelers, the kids' four-wheelers for like the first time in a couple decades, having ridden anything like that. There's been past ones where there was like a single standout thing. This one I wouldn't say there was like a single standout event, a single standout card, person, whatever. It was just like really fun the whole time. The sales were amazing the whole time. Some great trades, some great buys. Like, it was a very solid convention. I wouldn't say it was the best one I've ever been to. As far as like percentage of total items I brought being sold, it was actually the best. Part of that, and again, I'll do this at length Monday. I brought different stuff. Due to the eBay vault, I didn't have certain cards that I normally would have had, and I had more of a certain range. But yeah, it was a blast. So no like crazy things to talk about and gush over, but it was just like a very solid convention, I will say. Did it feel slower at Dallas Collecticon for you? The other Collecticons I've been to, there wasn't even room to walk. Maybe it was just because our spot in the middle wasn't the best spot or something. It was like Houston. Houston was crazy. I don't know square footage wise. I think Dallas had 90 sections. I think Dallas had 900 tables. So part of it was like, I think it was just a bigger footprint, a bigger room. It was like a big square room. A lot of times there'll be a rectangle. It may be longer, but less square footage though. I think a lot of them are. That one was probably up there square footage wise. Saturday, early afternoon. Saturday between 12 and 2 maybe. It got pretty packed. Like, definitely being in the back. I don't think you ever get the exact same craziness as you do in the front, like especially when people first start coming in. They kind of filter people in slowly though, security and whatever. So it never gets like too crazy. But I know a couple hours there on Saturday, it was pretty tight. Like I had to swim my way to the bathroom a couple times. I thought it was a pretty good turnout. Like Sunday was noticeably a little bit slower, but both days were like really, really solid. I thought very solid sales both days. And I don't know, like I wish the Collecticon guys would publish numbers like more frequently. Maybe they do. Maybe I'm just missing them. I do follow them on Instagram, but I don't watch a ton of stories. I don't scroll the feed a ton either. Mostly just for DMs and stuff. But I would love if we had like actual attendance number, convention by convention and all that. Probably sharing too much of that, too much transparency with that. People could just like do the math and figure out exactly how much money they're grossing and all that. And maybe they don't want that much transparency, that much publicity around that. But here we go. Let me scroll down and tackle some of Ernesto. Everyone hypes conventions, then they go and have no stories. It's all comps. I'm all set. Jake Smith, no stories. Thrifty, no stories. What are y'all doing? Sorry, Ernie. Having a good time. Like, just, we're doing what we do in Discord, what we do in YouTube live chats. We're talking about the hobby, and then we're talking about life and stuff too. Like, we're just catching up with friends over cardboard and having a good time. Like, there's nothing that crazy that needs to make it like so amazing. Like, maybe some people, and I hope this doesn't happen. I hope this isn't true, but probably to some extent, like, people might go to a convention and think like, oh man, Dan pumped it like crazy. Like everyone pumped it like crazy on YouTube, and I went and like nothing crazy. It's like it's just so much fun to be around all your friends and stuff, and uh interacting in the hobby you enjoy, right? I don't know. It's not that deep. Hanging out, good food, good people, good times. Dan, where the Gallery Panda at? The Gallery Panda is not set up yet. I do appreciate that. Brad ended up with some. I'll have to get it. I'll have to get it in the office for show and tell on Monday before I hang it somewhere. But yeah, it's not yet hung. I don't know where we're gonna put it. My wife probably won't let us put it in like the hallway between the two kids' bedrooms. We only have one, so I think my daughter will be fine letting my son have it. We'll see though. We'll see it. But yeah, I appreciate that. Brad ended up with some gallery panda credit, so he got me a nice piece of art to display somewhere. It probably won't make the background because I don't think it. I think it's bigger than these. Maybe it's the same size though. It might actually be the same exact size. I'll have to look at that. Uh, let me make sure. Let me scroll up and make sure I didn't miss any questions. Were the auto lines still crazy? I It was very like spotty. I didn't pay close attention. We weren't that far from them, but I just didn't look that way much. So where I was, where my table was, and where the signings were this way, my whole section was like behind me. So to the right, to the back, to the left, or yeah, behind me and to the right and back. All the signings were like over to the left, and I just wasn't paying attention that direction much. My table faced across, like not towards them. I walked to BGS a couple times. I walked up front a couple times. Like Mario, the line was really long. I noticed a couple times. I didn't even pay attention. I'm not a big signature guy. I'm not a big. I just like it's great that they're there and it's great a lot of people enjoy them. It's just not my thing. So I never really pay that much attention to the concert, to the signers. Like those are my less favorite parts about it. If or when the clogging from the artist lines like gets in the way of the table and selling, and when the concert gets in the way of selling because there's a 30-minute concert where you can't hear anyone or anything. More of an annoyance than anything. So I don't pay much attention. Both brands will still live separate. That's on PSA SGC, which is what I would have expected. I wouldn't expect PSA would almost like eBay buying TCG Player. Like I would have never expected eBay to buy TCG Player and shut it down entirely. So I think PSA collectors buying SGC, there are some brand loyalists for SGC. Kind of an interesting thing though, because when collectors bought PSA, you could, owning one player in the space, you could do big improvements to try to take over market share. When you buy a secondary, it's like you want to do things to take over market share from Beckett and CGC, but you don't want to cannibalize your own market share in PSA. Like you don't want to make SGC so good that you lose some of your PSA consumers to it. But one thing, and maybe this makes sense. Maybe I feel like it makes sense. PSA 1 through 10, Beckett, SGC, CGC, they'll have the premium 10. So this is PSA getting into that side of the market without. I think one of the worst business decisions any business could ever make would be PSA adding a premium 10. Well, they added a premium 10 to their portfolio now without having to add a premium 10 to PSA. Maybe that's bullish for SGC. What do they call them? I think they have an equivalent. They have an equivalent to the Black Label. Maybe that's bullish for the SGC premium. Like maybe PSA is gonna do something. The branding. If I were them, it's like 1 to 10. We've already got that on lock. We're already whatever percent of the market that was. SGC's only 7. Let's just take SGC and let's like squash the Black Label. Let's squash the CGC Pristine. I feel like having put exactly 30 seconds of thought into this, I feel like that's the angle that I'd take if I were collectors having bought SGC. Because I don't want to cannibalize my own business. I don't want to make it too good. I just want to go after that, like, can't do the 9.5. I can't do the premium 10. So go after the high end of the scale. Um, any thoughts on the digital packs Pokemon announced on Pokemon Presents? I unfortunately still haven't watched the Pokemon Presents. I've watched enough content. I've listened to enough content to kind of have a good idea of what it is. I don't have any significant thoughts. I did see another question. Dan, are you going to buy the Pokemon Trophy NFTs when they drop on Pokemon Pocket? I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting. I did see there was like a small grainy image of a Trophy Kangaskhan being on there. I saying this as someone who bought MetaZoo NFTs, saying this as someone who owns not like a massive part of my net worth in crypto, but like a decent amount of crypto relative to like the average person, I guess. Might sound weird, but I'm not like crazy about it. I'm not crazy about digital collectibles or whatever. Like if they do, like I did it with MetaZoo because I liked the utility version of it. I liked the limited nature if it were to ever become something. Like taking a long shot gamble. If Pokemon releases like 10 Trophy Kangaskhan, 10 illustrated, 50, I don't know. Like it could be intriguing and I'll probably be there to some extent. So yeah, Pokemon answering yours. I'll be keeping my eye on it, but I don't know enough to have any like major thoughts to put out there. I'll be keeping an eye on it, and mostly speculative, mostly like gambler side of Dan, which is a big side of Dan. I will have interest in it if there could be something there. What Top Shots did, I have no idea what Top Shots is doing right now, but that felt super silly, super crazy. If Pokemon were to do it with cards and release like actual, like maybe we won't ever get the serialized. I've theorized that eventually it's not a matter of if, but when we'll get serialized cards. Maybe they just do it in NFTs, keep all that there, never bring it to the cardboard. Well, I'll be there dabbling in it, especially if there's money to be made because, like, I mean, I'm a business. That's what I do, right? So I'll be keeping an eye on it. Appreciate you, E-Unit, catching up on 1.75. I think with me, you can go the full 2.0. I would recommend the full 2.0. I don't talk that fast. Thoughts on the chaos happening on CTR's channel the past few days? I've seen stuff about it. I'm just not like a big opening guy. I'm very aware of obviously Cool Train Orion, PokeRev, PokeVault. I met Cool Train Orion and PokeRev very briefly at Worlds 2019. They were both there like the first day, and then I think they both. I know PokeRev left early because he had something to go to. I think Ryan left too. I think they maybe came and went together for a very short period. But not met Sean yet. I'm sure someday. Enough conventions, all that. Like, obviously, massive channels. They're doing huge things. Just not my type of content. I'm sure they don't watch my content either. So the live streams though, like I'll have to pop one on. I'll have to pop one on. That definitely seemed like it almost seemed like the type of shenanigans that go on late night at a Collecticon. It was just the three of them hanging out, talking Pokemon, ripping packs. Like I can vibe more with that than like the multi-million view YouTube video, multi-100,000 made for you, like the raw live. I'll check it out. I did not watch any of it. I saw people talking about it in Discord. I saw a couple of the videos get recommended though. But yeah, I'll have to check it out because long form, it's getting more to my style. Just throw it on and hear what they're chatting about. Retro's all in on Poke NFTs. Retro, I will get you someday. I will get you that NFT from MetaZoo. As soon as I get my Trophy King, they release a newer digital version. Are the lives like so juicy that I need to watch them now before they get pulled, or are they gonna stay up? I mean, it is Cool Train Orion's channel, so I'd imagine as long as they weren't getting pulled, I don't think he would be the one. Just given what I've gathered about him, the little bit of content of his that I've watched, I don't think he'd pull anything down. But maybe if Nick or Sean had something happen, like I don't know, maybe I need to get to watching it tonight before they get pulled. But I have no idea. Let's see. What did I miss? Just got on. Where'd that one go? Takibana. Just not talking too in depth, but talking a little bit about Dallas. I'm gonna make a video on Monday talking very in depth about Dallas. I'll probably do like a full hour Dan PowerPoint covering the convention on the front side, buying, selling, what should I bring to sell, how should I buy, all the normal convention tips. It'll be a 30-minute convention tips video, how my convention went, and then it'll be like a 30-minute what I did outside of the convention for anyone who cares to consume that type of content. Let me scroll back up, make sure I didn't miss any questions. Pokemon Legends ZA. I heard about that. I don't know anything about that either. I do need to watch that Pokemon Presents. SGC is huge in sports, vintage, and gaining traction in modern. I know SGC has had some massive sales of like Mickey Mantles and maybe like an Onus Wagner. It'll be very interesting because, as I said, like if I were a collector's holding, my first thought, I'm sure they have a lot of their own thoughts on what they're going to do with it. My first thought would be leveraging that stuff I can never do. Like PSA never will come out with a 9.5 or a premium 10. It would be like, if anything, they should get rid of grades. They should get rid of all the half grades below, all the half grades in general. They have them, I don't think there's a 0.5. Maybe there is, but they have them from 1.5 to 8.5. And they're stupid because they're not replicable. And yeah, they're just silly. They don't make any sense. So I think PSA should kind of leverage and work towards trying to get certain cards that aren't worthwhile at PSA. They should try to get people going for the moon on that premium 10 at SGC. Dan, PSA buying SGC and shutting it down is the best thing to happen to it in a long time. Just look at MetaZoo. Oh, man. Yeah, as far as MetaZoo's liquidity goes, the best thing that ever happened to it in the past year was being dead. Mention my Venusaur, Dan. I believe I did take... your Venusaur can be a short one of these days. So I did pick up a nice Arita Sig Shadowless Venusaur. That is... I would show it, Thrifty, but it's already vault bound. Turned it around really quickly. Yours made it Wave 1. Wave 2 is... Wave 2 is already packed. Wave 3 is just this little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! That I needed to learn wavy versus glossy, and took me a little bit more time. So yeah, but Thrifty has a nice Venusaur Arita Sig, so keep an eye on Catch 'em All Collectibles eBay if you're interested in that. More Rusty Flexes, great. Are there more Pikachu Illustrator cards graded or MetaZoo Dan promos graded? Makes you think. Between all three companies, I believe there are like 40-something illustrators graded. I believe it's slightly more than were theoretically produced, 39. We know there's extra copies. I don't know, but I really hope there are no extra copies of Dan promos. I would be surprised if there were, but my whole buyback thing has me a little bit nervous. That's part of why I'm doing my corporate seal. I'm doing the other thing that I did with them that will release soon. I need to make sure I modify the cards in some way, just in case there's like 1,000 extra copies out there. I don't go bankrupt over my buyback. But yeah, there are, I think I sent 20 to CGC, 20 to PSA, 20 to BGS. So there's 60 Dan promos graded. There are slightly more graded. Does PSA get hit with an antitrust suit, or do they buy CGC and everyone is forced to do what they should have been doing all along, sending to PSA? I have no idea whether they'll get hit with an antitrust suit or not. Probably not. I think there's a lot of near monopolies in the industry and a lot of industries, and it just is what it is. I mean, intellectual property is a monopoly in a way, right? Pokemon has a monopoly over Pokemon. That's just what intellectual property is. Disney, 120 years later, is finally losing it on Mickey, right? I think. But, or maybe Winnie the Pooh, something. A couple things have fallen off, I think. But, let's see. But yeah, sending the PSA, there's application for CGC, there's application for BGS, there's application for SGC. I'm not PSA only, and I don't think Retro is either, but there are definitely people out there that I think, to their own detriment, they are as business just blinded towards one, and it's fine. I'm sure I could be PSA loyal, CGC loyal, BGS loyal, and do just fine. But I think the best is kind of doing a little bit of all of them. Jordan D says, I would love serialized Pokemon cards, but I can't see a Japanese company voluntarily losing control of their ability to reprint. Japanese companies are known for being efficient with capital. You don't really lose the ability to reprint. I mean, there's different ways you could tackle it, whether first edition, second edition, which I hope they don't do. But yeah, there are different ways. Even if you don't write first edition on it, you would effectively almost create a first edition, second edition, right? But it's interesting. It's interesting. I'll get the Moltres NFT. Half grades are brutal at PSA. Cracked 30 times 8.5s, 7.5s. Not one got a half grade. Most were 8.5s, and 80+% got 9s. I had a big ranty, fully spreadsheet included. I had an E4 post several years ago. There was a stretch. I actually went like deep dive on the pop report on how many PSA 8.5s existed before this date. And then there was like a 3-month span where PSA was just giving out 8.5s left and right at a rate like 10 times or more what they historically were. Look up like E4, gotta catch them all, PSA 8.5s. You'll find a long ranty thread where I really deep dive into it. I've cracked dozens of them over the years. I've never gotten a repeat grade. They're inconsistent enough with whole numbers. Like, do not bring half numbers into the equation. Oh, is the Venusaur signature Ernesto's? Magic Mon. So Metazoo got bought by Bandai, right, guys? Right? Probably not. Interesting though. When I did my Metazoo stream, what was that, like 4 weeks ago now? What was it, 4 weeks ago that Metazoo died, or 6 weeks? Some multiple of 2 weeks. A little over multiple of 2 weeks, because it was like I did a live stream 2 days after the news dropped. Let me see. I think it was 4 weeks ago. But anyways, at the time that I did that live, I had not heard from any Metazoo insiders, anything. Since, but like not recently, more like the day after my live stream, because some Metazoo insiders that I know, but don't know that well, some reached out to me. Some actually reached out to me and they're like, I heard mixed things. I heard like, there's no way Bandai's buying us, from some people. And these people were like, some were very close, some were much further. And then some were like, something big is happening, but couldn't elaborate. I haven't seen anything big happen yet. I didn't think to ask them like on what time frame. So basically what I'm saying is like, I've heard more speculation from people closer, but like obviously nothing has come of it yet. So I'm not like holding my breath on it. I have some amount of Metazoo that I still want to sell down to a certain number, a certain point. And otherwise it's like, I don't know. Dan Sears question, can I destroy your promo for content? Stay tuned to my video on December 8th. You might not be the first content made about destroying my promo. Promo inbound, I need that $20. Thank you. The buy list has not gone away. Brad says the same thing. It wouldn't be the first destroyed promo if you did. I want to help the investors by destroying my promo. And then Takibana shares, what are you talking about? Plenty of Japanese companies have serialized One Piece, Digimon, Weiss. I'm assuming that's a typo of Weiss, just to name a few. Yeah, I didn't think to bring that up, but that's a good point. I think there are definitely ways. Like, Pokemon is absolutely paying attention to what these other card games are doing. Like, Pokemon is watching One Piece. Pokemon watched Metazoo. Like, I can almost guarantee you someone at Pokemon paid some amount of attention to Medizu. As crazy as that sounds, Pokemon's a big company. There's a lot of people involved there. They definitely do market research. They definitely pay attention to Magic 30th. They definitely pay like Magic 30th. All the issues they had, all the crazy stuff that went on over $1,000 box. Pokemon did a $400 box. Like Pokemon, if you really sit down and think about it, that's a lot smaller. It doesn't have all the other stuff. That stuff's made in China. Like what did Pokemon Classic Collection cost Pokemon to make? Magic, to be like Magic, they sold this for $1,000. It probably cost them $2. Pokemon, it probably cost them like $20, and then they only sold it for $400. But it's like Pokemon was watching that, and then maybe they're like, oh well, and I don't know, like was Pokemon gonna go for 500, 600, 800, and then they like reeled it back into 400 after seeing how Magic 30th went? We'll never know that, but maybe like they definitely pay attention to this stuff. It'll be interesting to see if or when. I think it's more when we get serialized in Pokemon somehow. I mean, we already see it. The watches, the skateboards, I have a Master Ball right there. 1 of 5,000, numbered out of 5,000. So they're already doing serialized. They've just not brought it to cardboard yet. Well, not to TCG cardboard because they've brought it to the Bear Walker cardboard. How did you first decide to pick up additional CCGs on the side? My Pokemon growth is doing good, but sometimes I just want to look at something that's not Pokemon. So, Medizu intrigued me. Not to rehash my whole Medizu story, but Medizu definitely intrigued me. All these years, I've been aware of Magic. I've been aware of Yu-Gi-Oh! And they've just never, like, caught my, they've never tickled my fancy. And Medizu kind of did, so I went for it. So, Medizu, I just went for it. I started buying it as a silly consumer during a bubble, and it didn't go that well. But then I became a partner, and I started buying it at good prices, and I started like doing good business with it. So in the future, if I ever opt to go into another TCG, I will do it in the more intelligent way, at a discount to market, wholesale, ideally, as I am with One Piece. So One Piece opportunity. I heard people talking about it. It's a anime with over 1,000 episodes, big fan base, whatever. I have access to it for 60, 64, 63 a box through one of my distributors. So it's like I buy it. Another thing of just opportunity. I had someone hit me up. They hit up all other people too, but they hit me up with like a massive collection. They wanted like 50 grand. It had a ton of Pokemon. It had a ton of Naruto. It had a ton of Dragon Ball Z. It had a ton of Yu-Gi-Oh! It had a ton of Power Rangers, like all different kinds of stuff. That was just opportunity. I could have taken only the Pokemon and just left the rest, but I saw opportunity there. I saw some meat on the bone. I was buying it at like percent of value, massive collection all at once, 20,000 plus cards for $50,000 or whatever it was. So the way that I've gone about it is just like opportunity. I didn't really plan it. It just happened. It was there. So a lot of ways to do it. I have no connection though. Like having done a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, having these cards in front of me, they don't mean anything to me. Like I just don't care that much. Sports cards, a little bit more. They're actually all boxed up, so I can't show those. Sports cards, it's like I watch a ton of sports. Like I'm a huge sports fan. Played them all growing up, except hockey. We didn't have hockey at my school. I guess I never played tennis for a team, but I played pretty much every sport in some capacity. Almost every sport my school offered, I played. I guess tennis would be like the only one. Tennis and like cross country. I never did cross country, but I did do track. But yeah, sports I can get into a little bit. I could see myself doing sports cards a little bit more someday, just because of the connection. Pokemon, massive nostalgic connection. Medizu, the idea intrigued me. Connection to a couple cryptids intrigued me. I still have this Redding sitting here that I pulled that stream. I haven't even sent this for grading yet. I need to send that out. But Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, like I have the One Piece boxes. I'm just taking the free money while it's there. I just don't care about One Piece. I don't care about like Disney nostalgic to a lot of the movies and shows and stuff, but I haven't like gone for Lorcana. Big thing. I don't have a leg up. I don't have an advantage. I'll get into Dragon Ball Fusion World or whatever before I get into Lorcana, because I can get it wholesale. I'm into One Piece before I get into Disney, even though I have some like childhood nostalgic ties to it, because I don't have access to Lorcana wholesale. brick and mortar only. So yeah, for me, getting into anything ever again, like I need to have some advantage. I need to have some leg up to go for it. Final Fantasy I did a little bit of years ago because I had a distributor that had access to it, and I made a little bit of money in it. Didn't go that well. I have some Opus One still that hasn't sold that's up from what I paid for it, but I think I have a lot of other stuff that's just been dead money for a long time. And in hindsight, I wish I wouldn't have gotten to Final Fantasy, but who knows? Like it could have popped off. It could have been doing what One Piece is doing for me now. So who knows? um. My first and only YouTube video will be reviewing Dan's E4 threads and exposing him. I have over 5,000 posts on E4 from years ago, so you could make a lot of content. That could be a long series. Nice seeing you over the weekend, Peak. Appreciate you. If my wife's still listening, she's gonna be like, "Hey, listen to your buddy. Listen to Peak at you. You should keep it trimmed." She's not a fan of when it gets how it was last week. Whoa, Thrifty, no spilling the beans on the promo updates. Um, um, oh, Wixos is different from Weiss, but I wouldn't be surprised if Weiss also had serialized tournament cards. Yeah, I've never heard of Wixos. That's new to me. I figured it was just a Weiss typo. um, Dan as a partner didn't watch MetaZoo. I'm sure a billion-dollar company did. I'm probably freezing. Apologies. Yeah, my internet's been real rough tonight. I might need to lower my bitrate. I'm gonna write a note to myself I might need to lower my bitrate a little bit. Hopefully, we don't have to go back to 480p, but I think 480p smooth is probably preferable to 720p not smooth, right? I'm gonna make a note to look at my bitrate tomorrow. Pokemon watched MetaZoo, then looked at the art and said, "Never mind." Magic Lord of the Rings had a 1-of-1 card, but they still did a reprint on the set. Good point there, too. Before the 1-of-1 was pulled. Oh, was it before the 1-of-1 was pulled? I didn't know that. Am I gonna watch Dune tomorrow? No. Dune was a movie, right? Oh, Dune Part 2. I've never seen Dune. American epic science fiction film. I've definitely heard about it. I never watched it though. Maybe I'll have to watch that. It's rated really well. Huh. Maybe I'll have to watch that. Let me get back to my chat. If you think about it, Pokemon trophy cards are basically serialized too, LMAO. I wish they would be. I wish they would put numbers on the ones that were awarded. One of the issues would be that like it would kind of be like a feels bad. So one winner, there are 6 number 1s awarded every year, right? 3 divisions to TCG and VGC. It would feel bad to be the one that didn't get the 1 of 6, right? Like it would kind of be like a feels bad. So, but one thing that would be a feels good is we would be able to distinguish extra copies. If they do 1 of 6, 2 of 6, 3 of 6, all the way to 6 for each place, extra copies will be apparent. So I don't think they're going to do it anytime soon. I think they like the ability to have those extra copies be around. Yeah, I sent a bulk box of like some sleeved, some unsleeved cards to Retro. That was after I went through. I did my best to like find what was good, and there were like 4-figure cards unsleeved in a bulk box that I sent to Retro. Same thing goes for Yu-Gi-Oh! Same thing goes for like I know I sold some Naruto to Squeaks. I don't think there were like 4-figure cards. Maybe there were, but I think a lot of people did really well with that collection. I did it insanely well. Retro's doing really well, like semi-consigning some of the stuff. I know Ernesto did a little bit of the Yu-Gi-Oh! DNA, multiple people. Jake Smith. I know Jake looked at the Yu-Gi-Oh! Forget if he bought any. But yeah, Colson bought some of the Naruto. A lot of people did pretty well with that collection. I'm actually to the bottom. I was planning on going no later than 12:30, my internet is not having a great night. I really appreciate like 50 people hanging out with me this long. Don't know why, don't know how. Loved your video from yesterday. Subscribe because of it. I appreciate that, Written. Thanks for watching. Glad that you enjoyed it. But yeah, if anyone has any final questions, feel free to let me know. Monday, as I said, it will be Collecticon recap. Hour-long video. 30 minutes business in the front. 30 minutes party in the back. Talking about the Thursday, Friday shenanigans and the Friday night, Saturday night as well. And then Saturday, there is a big update coming for my MetaZoo promo. I do see some questions coming in. I will hit those. I'm just continuing with this little wrap up that I was doing. But I will go till 12:30 if I have questions. But yeah, big update for the MetaZoo Dan promo. I will have that for a video on Saturday, March 9th. So look forward to that or don't look forward to that. I don't think it will be the case anymore. But for that 2-week period, my MetaZoo videos got more views than my Pokemon videos. My most viewed live stream ever is a MetaZoo live stream 2 days after MetaZoo died. So very, very interesting, that whole thing. Wild. It was pretty wild. I'll always remember MetaZoo. I'll always have my promo. I'll always have my Grill Greaser Pete, some of my Bigfoot lying around. Too many sealed boxes lying around. MetaZoo was a good time. Colt says, do you think if consignments take off a ton this year, they will for you? Is there a certain level you scale back a lot of your buying, or would you hire out help? My employee, no employees thing. Like I've never said no employees ever, but if I ever were to have employees, it would be like kind of Nick Walrus situation. So a W-2 is very different from a 1099 employee. If I ever have an employee, it would be an independent contractor, actually, not an employee. So employees W-2, independent contractors 1099. I could see a day where I have one, if not multiple, independent contractors. I mean, when you look at something like DC Sports, when you look at something like Troll and Toad Evo, way more so, I have employees, basically. Like for the past 3 years, I've been in Troll and Toad Evo, and I've had just a warehouse of people down in Kentucky storing, fulfilling, doing customer service. Like, some of these consignment service, like me being a consignment service, I'm kind of acting as your employee. So I'm an employee for others. I have my own employees. Will I ever have a 1099? Like, not really on my payroll, because payroll's W-2, but will I ever have a 1099 on my books? Could be. Definitely could be. The consignments thing, though, like, I have room to 10x what I'm doing currently, like volume-wise. And if it ever gets there, if it ever gets to where, like, all I'll have time to do is consignments, I'll either make it a closed system. I'll go, like I won't put additional fees on it, because it's paying me enough now. But if I ever get so many people consigning with me that are consigning so much, which I don't think is going to happen, very tiny channel relative to the huge market we're in, I would just close it down, not take on new consigners, or only take on like X amount per month as older ones drop off or whatever. Or I would grandfather in who I have, and then I would raise the fees back up to new people, kind of effectively closing it down. But as far as like hiring out help to help with the consignments, I don't think so. The buy it nows just naturally have way less demand than the auction stuff. I'll leave the auction stuff to James. I'll leave which he's doing buy it now as well. A little bit more expensive than me though. But yeah, I like where I'm at right now. I like buying and selling. I never want consignments, and I won't allow consignments to consume my whole 40 hours a week. But we are so far from that. Like, it could 10x. Like, if I start getting 10 times the amount that I've been getting, it wouldn't be half my week. So, like, do I necessarily want it to be half my week? I mean, for half my week, I'd be getting paid very well. So, I mean, I could live with that, but it's never going to become my whole week. So, if or when it starts trending towards that, I would change something. Hiring for that feels less likely, but who knows? Who knows? There are definitely certain aspects of what I do, certain aspects of what I could do that would be more 1099 probable. That could definitely be a thing. Yeah, so I think I'm still at the very bottom. You pick up any Lorcana during the dip, bumped up from 150 to almost 250 on TCG Player already. So as I talked about in MetaZoo, I am not going to buy Lorcana on the open market. Like, if someone had a high quantity of them that they wanted to sell to me at like 70%, which I would like, they'd probably find a buyer at 80 or 90%, given how hot it is right now. But I am not going to do what I did with MetaZoo again. The first 50 grand I put into MetaZoo was with all the other consumers. And you can get wrecked buying wholesale. Like, you can get wrecked in any of these things buying wholesale. But you're less likely to. Just inherently paying less money, not like a revolutionary thing. So paying wholesale, you're that much less likely to get destroyed. Being a partner, like, I didn't get, like, all the MetaZoo I did, I got wrecked on the stuff I bought in that first 50 grand as a consumer. Some of that I sold too. Like, some of that I sold for profit, into the wave, into the hype. MetaZoo doesn't owe me anything. Like, I got all my money out of it and then some. I just made a poor hourly, given some of the stupid stuff I bought first. But when I was a partner, I was crushing it. Had I sold it all, like, I would have really crushed it. So I would only ever get into Lorcana at wholesale. I would only ever get into Lorcana. Best way for me to get into Lorcana is to just like maybe I would buy raw to grade, because there's no way to like buy wholesale raw. You can buy raw at a percentage. You can buy, like, as a dealer, you buy raw at a percentage, then you can grade the gradable ones. But I just don't have the time to make those plays in non-Pokemon. Like, there are already Pokemon things that I'm not doing that I would love to have the time to do. But so yeah, I'm never gonna really get into buying and grading singles of One Piece or Lorcana, because I just don't care about the cards enough to. I'll do that in Pokemon. I'll consign anything. It's really cool to see, like, even though Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't do anything for me, I can appreciate, like, the history. I can appreciate the cards. I actually coming to my vault soon, the first ever Jordan rookie, 1986 Fleer Jordan rookie. I do sports as well. A bunch of hockey rookies. I'm a big hockey guy. Unfortunately, no New York Rangers in there. Crosby rookie. Crosby Young Guns. There was actually a couple in front of me that might not be going. The consigner might be taken back to do some grade optimization. But yeah, Gretzky rookie. Not Gretzky, sorry. Jordan rookie. And, like, I appreciate and understand and respect all these cards. I just am not going to be, like, buying raw trying to grade those ones. I will consign anything eBay Vault eligible, and I will enjoy, like, having those pass through my hands. I will actively flip more in Pokemon. I will actively buy wholesale in Pokemon when the opportunity presents itself, as it is today with One Piece. Maybe tomorrow, if I hit up my distributor, maybe I'll be getting Dragon Ball Super Fusion World. But that's only because I have a leg up. That's only because it's a little bit less risky. Well, it's a lot less risky getting it wholesale. I mean, OP05 was absurd. OP05, I bought 4 cases at release. I dumped them all for $2K a piece, making over $1,000 a case for just selling them into the market. I could have made an additional $1,000. I mean, I could have made, if I held on until they went to $300. That's over $3,000 a case. So I left a lot of meat on the bone. Like, I actually sold 10 boxes of it, or 8 boxes of it at dinged up boxes that I had at Collecticon Dallas. But yeah, I'm only doing the One Piece because it's there wholesale and I have access. Good point. Good thing to bring up here. Japanese. I don't have access to wholesale. Kind of breaking my own rule, but I do dabble in a little bit of Japanese sealed. I have quite a bit. I have quite a bit. I forget the most recent time. Shout out Retrospecs. If you're interested in buying, he's trying to take over PokeWA. He's coming for PokeNE. So watch out, Brian. But yeah, Retro, he does a little bit of Japanese box sourcing. I think the most recent time, maybe Retro, let us know in chat. Like, I'm not ashamed. I'm not afraid to have you say what I paid. But It was when the prices were a little bit higher. I might have paid. Did I do 100 loose boxes for like 60, 65 each? Maybe I paid, and obviously that's not at today's prices. Like I'm sure I could get a little bit cheaper than that. But I have a couple hundred V-Star Universe. I probably have 100 something Shiny Treasure. I mean, so yeah. Kind of breaking my rule, but it is Pokemon. It is Pokemon. I do get it. Not as drastic. Like I pay 60% of retail approximately for wholesale Pokemon. When I buy Japanese, like whatever you see on eBay, whatever you see low list on eBay, I pay less than that. Not substantially less though. 10% less, depending on how it goes. My Instagram contact, my retro specs. Hit him up if you're looking for some Japanese. He's Teeheeing in chat. So, retro NE, PokeWA. There's different ways you could go with it. I'm not great with branding, but I feel like there's something there. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up soon. I scammed Dan, slide into the DMs for homie pricing. But yeah, I do have. I need to take inventory. I really need to take inventory on what I have for Japanese because I have a shelf full. Whatever fits on my 2x4 by 8 feet tall shelves. I have one shelf completely full, and then I have a couple pallets that are stacked with cases. So I have a shelf and a half a pallet maybe of Japanese, various things. I probably should inventory that. But anyways, yeah, we got Mr. Walrus, 4% to 1% variable consignments available. But yeah, if anyone's interested, I guess I can close on a little bit of an ad. If anyone's interested, consignments are there. $25 minimum fee. I take all the way down to $250. I think that's one thing James doing too. He's going 1,000 and up. So the humble fisherman can dabble in the lower value stuff. I will take $250 cards because they are vault eligible. But functionally, it'll be a 10% fee for a $250 card because there's a $25 minimum fee. And then the fee breaks at $5,000. It goes down to 2%. So you sell a $5,000 card through my vault on consignment, it's a $100 fee. You get $4,900. You sell a $10,000 card, it's a 1% fee. You get $9,900. You pay $100 to sell a $5,000 card. You pay $100 to sell a $10,000 card, and then 1% up there beyond that. Yeah, that's the vault consignment service sponsored by myself. If you have only $500 to spend on Pokemon card, which one would you have bought today? I would try to buy raw and grade. I would try to buy raw and grade. Kind of a cheating answer, but like boring answer. The most recent cards I've bought, there is still margin in these. I would buy like, I would buy. I think I got these recently, as low as 65 a piece. I would buy 7 to 8 of these, and I would grade them as PSA 10s. And I would make $80 to $100 a card doing it. Like, there is still a good hourly wage in buying raw near mint on TCG Player and then grading the 10s. You lose money on the 9s. You don't grade the 9s ideally. You don't grade the 8s at all. But there's still money to be made grading Celebrations Charizards, as crazy as it is. I just bought like 25 or 30 the other day. I still haven't used up all my TCG Player credit from Black Friday that I bought. But anyways, L-Dub's hitting up retro. Is it time to dump Japanese? Japanese is very broad. I don't know what you have, Pooping Turtle 69, but very broad question. I can't really answer it. I'm sure there's some Japanese worth dumping. I'm sure there's some Japanese worth buying, holding, flipping, all avenues. But yeah, I appreciate everyone hanging out. That is going to be it for tonight. Monday, Dallas Collecticon recap. Next Friday, should I tease it? I think I should tease it. Brad G cards. I don't know how Brad G cards has not yet been on a Pokeflips, but next Friday, Brad G cards will be on Pokeflips. The day after that, Dan promo update. Brad G cards may or may not be involved in the Dan promo update, so that will drop the day after Brad G cards hits Pokeflips. So yeah, I appreciate everyone hanging out. I will catch you all later.